Hi everybody, welcome back to another video. Today's video is going to be about pretty much how it all began, how I started my daycare business. I never really imagined that I would have my own daycare. I don't think that's how it initially started. I initially wanted to be a teacher. I started to volunteer at my church. I was getting older, so I wanted to be a teacher for the church program for the little kids. They were probably maybe 3, but I was pretty much putting in the work, putting together lesson plans, putting together activities, and showing the elders at the time I can do this, let me be the teacher. So anyways, I think they were wowed. They were like, okay, we're gonna give her a chance. As time went on, I kind of lost the vision of even being a teacher, because then I had my own child. And as we kind of know, life doesn't really go according to plan sometimes. I pretty much just ran into opportunities of me working at daycares. I don't know how. I don't know where the ideas came from. I honestly can't even remember how it happened. I was just really looking for a job that was just gonna pay me so I could pay my bills. I got a job at a daycare. I had my own baby. I left the daycare because I was pregnant. I ended up taking some time off, and I ended up getting another job. Just kind of forgot about daycare and just was trying to get to the bag. I was working anywhere. I was getting security jobs. I was putting in applications for insurance companies. I was really just kind of doing whatever was gonna pay me. I kind of let daycare and kid teaching activities, all that, I kind of let that go to the side. Once I had my baby, then all of a sudden, one day, randomly, my old job that I used to work out at a daycare, she randomly called me and was like, can I work there again? And this was months later. I'm telling you, at least half a year, because my baby was at least 5 months at the time. Oddly enough, perfect timing, because I needed a job. So it kind of just fell into my lap again. So I was like, okay, I'm going to work at a daycare again. So cool. I was working at a daycare. I did that for a little while. Then I started going to school again. I wanted to work in child development. So I was slowly starting to get into it again. Then the daycare that she had, was well and all, but I just was like, I can't do this anymore. I need a break. I don't want to work here anymore. At that time, I wanted to focus on school, and I wanted to just focus on my baby. And then at that time as well, another job fell into my lap with me working with children at the church for a homeschool program. So honestly, working with kids just kept falling into my lap. And then I started to dive deep into the idea again of wanting to be home, wanting to be home with my kid, but I gotta make money. I can't just not have money. I need to pay bills. I want to do stuff. So then I was just maybe I could do tutoring in the apartment complex, or maybe I could babysit in the apartment complex with, since I'm already with my child. Things like that started to come across. As I was coming across this idea of just wanting to babysit, it fell into my lap that I wasn't necessarily able to babysit. If I was going to be watching multiple children, I would have to open a family daycare home. And I was like, okay, well, how am I going to do that, right? So time goes on. I'm still entertaining the idea, but working and going to school at the same time. The jobs I was working had nothing to do with kids. I was working at a restaurant. I was going to school. So I was doing that. And I kept entertaining the idea of what this family daycare home was. So I kept doing my research. I kept coming across articles and links and websites and things like that. Then all of a sudden, as I'm you know what? Forget it. I'm gonna just make some flyers, or I'm gonna talk to the neighbors and just see if they want me to watch their kid for a couple extra bucks. The apartment ends up getting renovated, and they're basically you guys need to pay X amount of dollars or you have to move. And we're bruh. The amount that they were charging at that time, we probably could have got a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom for that price. And mind you, we were in a 1-bedroom. So we were let's just move. Let's just get more for our money and call it a day. It's fine. We can probably find something else. So because we were looking for a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom, I was okay, maybe that'll be more convenient, because me babysitting children in my 1-bedroom probably wouldn't even have worked out anyways. We don't have enough space for that. So having 2 bedrooms probably would have been a little bit more comfortable, because then I could just watch the kids in this 1-bedroom, and then we can have our own personal bedroom type of thing. So started entertaining that idea, started to, really lock in the idea of okay, I can really start my own family daycare, but in an apartment. And so that was a little rare, because all the family daycares that I was coming across or reading about or finding online, they were in homes. And so I'm ooh, how is this gonna go with me starting a daycare in an apartment? Once we had to move out, it really just kept calling me. It really just kept popping up in my mind, like, you can do this, you can start a daycare, like you can have a program. Like, it just really was just popping into my head all day long. I couldn't let it go. I was just kind of like having doubts, having struggles of how I was going to make it happen, what my plan was going to be, what space I was going to have. And every single thought that I had, an opportunity kept coming up for there not to be an excuse. So for example, like I said, we had to move out of the apartment. I was already doubting the fact, like, I can't have this business in a 1-bedroom. So then boom, it falls into my lap, like, you guys got to move out and find a bigger space. So I'm like, wow. So then what do? We go out and we try to find a bigger space. So we put in our paperwork. They said we can get the apartment. Boom, we got the apartment. Now, mind you guys, as I'm going through this, I'm still like going back and forth, like, I could really start a business. I could really start a daycare in one of the rooms. I'm telling my partner, he's like, yeah, it's a good idea. But I think we both were kind of like, yeah, that's a good idea, but am I really going to do it kind of thing. As it kind of got closer to the move-in date, I was really debating like how it was going to work because I was in an apartment. Like, it just seemed a little inconvenient for parents to come to me because we're in an apartment. And apartments, they have like gates, you have to know the code, all these things. So I was really just kind of like, I don't know if this is going to work. Like, I'm probably not going to do it. I'm just going to turn the room into my daughter's room. So as I'm literally having these thoughts, we show up for the moving date. We're ready to literally load the truck up and start moving our things into our apartment. And tell me why the manager of the apartment complex tells us that apartment for some reason isn't available. He ended up trying to give us some random apartment. That one was dirty. It was old. It was not what we saw. So we were kind of getting irritated. Like, we're moving in today. Where's our apartment? Like, so that was kind of happening. So he was like, I'm sorry, that one's not going to be ready until X amount of dates. Okay, well, what are we supposed to do? Because we have the movers and all our family here to help us move, and we have no apartment to move into. So then tell me why, as I was having these doubts of it's not going to work out because where the apartment was that we saw was inconveniently placed, we ended up, he's like, we have this other apartment available for you guys. And then we were like, okay, like, let's go see it. So when we go see it, tell me why this apartment building is literally, this apartment unit is literally in the front of the complex. Literally, like when you open the gate, that's our apartment right there. And I was like, honestly, this is a little bit perfect because boom, they don't even it's like walking up to a front door at this point. Like, you don't have to navigate all through the complex to find me. If I was going to do this, I'm right here in the front. Like, this is very convenient, right? So I'm going back on my positive tip, thinking I can do this. Something just kept telling me, like, it's going to be fine. Keep doing the work, keep doing it. It's going to work out. Conveniently enough, I was directed to a website that literally laid out step by step of everything that I needed to do when it came to licensing, when it came to inspection, when it came to, like everything I needed to get licensed as a daycare. I also ran into information where I was doubting and scared, like, oh, the landlord's going to have a problem with me having a daycare in an apartment, but came across information where he can't even tell me no. So there was really, everything was lining up to where this is going to happen. There's nothing in your way. There's nothing telling you no, you can have a daycare in this apartment building. You're going to have a daycare in this apartment building. I started doing my research. I started looking up everything I needed to do, any equipment I needed to buy, inspections, fire stuff, safety stuff. I was looking into all that and purchasing it. How I had the money at the time, from the moment I got pregnant, I was in grind mode. And like I said, I had worked 2 jobs. I was going to school. My financial aid money, I didn't spend a dime of it. And when it came to textbooks, I was asking other peers at the time, like, let me take a picture of the textbook. Like, I was grinding it out, okay? So all the money that I had worked and saved in financial aid, any of those things, I had pretty much saved it at this point. So I was able and blessed enough to immediately start purchasing things. I literally passed. I had my license. I was literally able to start advertising and watching children like the next day. So at this point, I'm like, oh my gosh, I did it. Like, it's done. I'm a licensed daycare. I really just went and did that. Like, you know what I mean? And it was just honestly so ordained. You know what I mean? Like, it was just so perfectly aligned for that to go that way, for it to happen. While I was going on that journey of setting that business up, I really had to trust in God. Like, I had to trust in the Most High that He was going to make everything okay. I also had to shift my mindset from my negative thoughts to think, like, you know what, even if it doesn't work out, that's okay. Now I have a room that's perfectly decorated and educational for my kid. Like, there's no waste here. There's no waste in any work that you do. And that's what I had to remind myself too. Like, even if this doesn't become a daycare, even if you get no clients, whatever, at the end of the day, this is still going to be something that you learn. This is still going to be something that you can use down the line. So what really is being wasted? What really are you afraid of? Either way, it's going to work out. Another thing was that I knew and I had trust and I had faith that it was all going to work out, because the thought and the want to do this, it never went away. As much as I kept trying to brush it off and ignore it and give myself reasons as to why I couldn't do it, the thought of me like starting this business, it would never go away. It really showed me that I can literally do anything that I put my mind to if I put the work in and I trust in the Most High to guide me. I really want this to kind of inspire you a little bit, that if it's calling you, if it just will not leave your mind, if you try to forget it and it just keeps popping up, that maybe that it's a sign that you need to keep going. Like maybe it's a sign that this is what you are supposed to be doing and you should stop ignoring it and figure out what the first step is into accomplishing it. You don't have to have it all figured out. Yes, of course I did my part. I did my research. I did the work into plugging in what was needed, but I did not have it all figured out. A lot of the things I had to learn along the way. Where daycare is now, it wasn't there before. And so I don't want people to get lost in that idea, like you have to have it all figured out and that it has to be perfect in order for you to even start. No. You just need to have a vision, you just need to have a plan, and you just need to have trust in the Lord, because He's going to guide you. He's going to give you what you need as long as you do your part. That whole experience changed my whole entire life. We're no longer at the apartment anymore. We were able to expand. We have a large daycare now, where we have a second daycare that's literally in the works of becoming a large. So it's literally has just been so prosperous, has been such a blessing. And I'm truly happy and grateful that I trusted in that plan and that I accepted it, and that I've been doing everything since then to maintain the blessing that I was given. Once you kind of crack the formula in a way, it's like nothing is untouchable. Nothing is out of reach for you anymore. That's why I'm here today. I'm doing this YouTube channel. This is new for me. But like I said, here we are again. I feel like the Lord is calling me, and I have not been able to let this go. I have not been able to shake this from my desires. I just decided to, you know what? I feel like it's for a reason. Let me dive into it and see what's to come from this, And at the end of the day, even if it goes nowhere, even if I only have 1 subscriber, even if people don't like what I have to say, at the end of the day, what wrong do you ever get from putting the work in? You know what I'm saying? So like I said, always look at the silver lining, always look at the positive of a situation. Don't dwell too long on the negative, and just trust that it's going to work out. Trust that it's going to go the way that you desire it to go, if not more. I hope the same goes for you. I hope that you are really able to trust in your abilities and trust in God to guide you and to lead you where you need to go. Really turn up that discernment, turn up that intuition, and really dive into what's being called on you. Go ahead and leave a comment. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and I hope to see you guys in the next video. Bye.
She don't like that, she on the right track. She came to slay, she ain't come to play. She handling the shit, she gon' hit you right back. She came to slay, she ain't come to play.